Originally released in 2015 and enjoying a near complete redesign for 2022, KTM's 1290 Super Adventure R is a 1301cc adventure bike with a 21-inch front wheel, a claimed 160 horsepower and 138 newton meters of torque. And that is mental. For 2023, KTM has gifted the 1290 bold new graphics, as well as integrated turn-by-turn navigation on the 7-inch adjustable TFT screen. But let's just let those numbers sink in for a second. It's 160 horsepower, which is really only relevant to riding on the road, but it has a 21-inch front wheel, which is something you only find on an off-road bike. Outside of the 1290, you never see a pairing of those power figures and that front wheel size. But that doesn't mean it's an abomination. There are plenty of examples of things that are large and powerful and are nothing short of awe-inspiring, like Godzilla, the CR500, George Foreman, and of course, Meatloaf. If 160 horsepower strikes you with the kind of fear a Vindaloo before a long flight would, then you can loosen that sphincter because you knock it down to the off-road modes and you're at about 100 horsepower, which is similar to the output of, say, an Africa Twin.
On paper, the 1290 is a jumble of awesome figures and technical offerings. It's easy to view it simply as the ultimate off-road power delivery system, a platform for Austria to flex its muscles in the face of the Japanese, the Germans and the Italians, while simultaneously striking fear into nearby wildlife. But it's capable of too much more to be completely defined by its engine output. The V-twin LC8 engine can either be the Hulk or it can be Bruce Banner, and you get to decide when one or the other appears. It will never be totally docile, there's too much menace lurking in there, but you can calm the animal enough to keep control when an amount of finesse is needed. The chassis with that clever drop-down tank design, coupled with the WP Explore suspension, gift the 1290 an agile feel that defies its weight of somewhere around 265 kilos fully fueled. The bike's electronics are designed to help you negotiate an understanding between your skill level and the immense power available. And there are times when you get the feeling that riding a bike this imposing shouldn't be this, I'm not sure if easy is the right word, but it is fun up to a point. But this is all kind of pointless, if I'm honest. This is the type of trail the 890 was made for, and certainly not where the 1290's true strengths lay. There's no need to shy away from technical terrain, but let's give the 1290 a bit more room to move, because the big Kato feels more at home once it gets a sniff of an open track, and this is where, as a rider, you really start to enjoy everything the bike has to offer. I've heard and I understand all the arguments against big bikes, but there is something intoxicating, there always has been with motorcycles, about the way it feels to have all that power on hand, even if you can truly only use a small portion. I got bored riding by myself, so I called my mate Sneddo, who joined me to go explore some tracks we've never ridden before. I had a rough idea of the direction we'd head, but no clue on what we'd find along the way. He owns a Tenere 700, but he's also a fan of the big bikes. We've been riding with each other for decades now, and as fully grown men, with families and responsibilities, both experienced in our professional fields, and deep observers of the world, we like to cover the big topics of the day whenever we get together. Hey, have you seen that video of the guy who had his whole face ripped off by the bear?
No.
And his head crushed?
No.
Ripped his cheeks out and everything?
No.
Had no jaw left?
Right.
You got to see that. He had to walk back to his car. Oh, that does not look good. Oh, so there is a bridge.
A couple of logs in the middle would make me feel a bit better about it.
Determined to find our way around, we explored some gnarly single trail off to the side.
Well, that's something you don't see every day.
Tortoise and the tiger.
That's a nice track, isn't it?
Mm. Yeah, I don't think I'd want to be on the big bike through there.
I reckon you can do it. I reckon you can do it.
Newsflash, we could not do it.
It's really slippery coming up here and then it closes in. A lot of tree roots. I think you got to draw the line somewhere, eh? I'm happy to draw it here. Righto. This is no place for you, big unit. Not with me on it anyway.
Undeterred, we took the long way around, our spirits still buoyed by the absolutely perfect day, until I hit a patch of mud that was clearly made in a lab, but somehow made its way into the wild and had me held captive. After monitoring the situation, Sneddo gave me his assessment, based on the information we had at hand.
I think we're fucked.
This was accurate.
Surely with all the good tread left on that back tyre, we can push our way out of here. All right, it's not that far. It's just, give everyone an idea.
I reckon we're in trouble.
This is fine.
Oh yeah.
This is fine. That's progress. Jesus. We're out.
Well, we're 50% out.
Well, I'm out.
You're out, yeah.
I wish you the best of luck, mate.
Thanks, mate.
I'll meet you at the campsite.
No, we can do it.
This must be mud from Fukushima.
It's not good mud, is it?
Let's get rid of some of this so you can stick a bit closer to the bank. Yeah, keep that power on.
Following the trail at the 1290 had just bulldozed through the bush.
Nice.
We were able to get the lighter Tenere through the mutant mud patch pretty easily.
Your tyre looks great. You got more vegetation than you have rubber.
A couple of trail riders came through and old mate pulled a magic move to get
nice.
through on his WR.
How you going? Good now.
The XT didn't get through quite as cleanly, but it was clear to us that we should have just ridden through the water and not through the Fukushima mud.
Away again, that was a lesson for all, I think, in line choice, and always check the water depth and the conditions under the water, because in this case, if we went straight through the water, we would have been fine. We made it far more difficult by trying to go around in the softest of the mud. And did we learn anything? No. I mean, maybe, but I'll forget it in about 20 minutes. There's joy in finding the serenity of a campsite, isn't there? To have a nice lunch.
You can't beat just being out in the bush on your own.
Yep. Yeah, the serenity. Yeah. Just your egg sandwich, an RM80, and a bloke and an old TE Husky that'll probably break down in about 10 minutes.
Pickle blanket. Just to make sure. Look, I didn't have any. I didn't have any bread.
It looks exotic. How was your pickle sandwich?
It was great.
Because my opinion of pickles is they're a bad sandwich citizen.
In what way?
They want to dominate everything.
As well as riding together, me and Sneddo have played in bands together for years. Here's us playing to a wild crowd of 12 people. That's him at the top playing guitar, and I'm at the back playing the drums.
Have we ever played country?
No. Never.
Do you want to play country?
I don't know.
I don't know either. We should go to Tamworth and see a real country band, and then we can decide whether we want to play real country.
That sounds like a plan.
It's the country music capital of Australia. We can stay at the Golden Guitar, and if we haven't got the country vibe by the time we leave, we'll just go back to our unique brand of funk, rock funk with a bit of blues.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, let's go to Tamworth.
You look up with those angel eyes. I remember what I'm fighting for. Oh, the victory cannot be denied. You're the fire in my bones. Oh, the song upon my soul. And I gotta let the whole world know. Every day when the sun rises, I feel love beating down my door. Every night when the moon is shining, I pray you'll be coming back for more. Come and settle down a while. Tell me everything you're praying for. Oh, the answer will not be denied. I know the answer will not be denied. Every day when the sun rises, I feel love beating down my door. Every night when the moon is shining, I pray you'll be coming back for more. And every day when the sun rises, I feel love beating down my door. Every night when the moon is shining, I pray you'll be coming back for more.
It's just missing a beat.
We woke the next morning with a bit of a hangover and temperatures of minus 3.5, which I greeted as though there was tap dancing lepers at the door. But we were blessed with another absolutely perfect day, so after a breakfast in Tamworth, we started our return leg home. Both of us commented on how well the 1290 operates as a true adventure tourer. We may have ridden it in single trail the day before and literally dragged it through the mud, and yet across a long day of riding, it's as poised as any purpose-bred adventure tourer on the market, and that's the kind of versatility few, if any, can match.
So what is it about the 1290 that I do like and I don't like? And is there anything that's just a little bit meh? Well, it starts with the engine. That V-twin, it's always got to focus on how much power it has, but in fact that power delivery is beautifully smooth and really easy to ride. I also like the balance afforded by the drop-down tanks, and I love the standing ergos. It's a really comfortable bike to stand and ride and control while you're off-road. I love the 7-inch TFT display. I love that it comes with rally mode. And I also love this little compartment where you can store an unused piece of sausage roll and only 4 screws to remove that, and you made your way to the air filter. That's fantastic. I love the WP Explore suspension kit because it has a really tough job to do with a bike this heavy and this powerful, and it does it really well. Here are the things that I don't really like about the bike. I don't like that the side stand has a foot that small for a bike this heavy, and I don't like that the windscreen is this small on a bike that will be used as a tourer as well. I don't like that there's no heated hand grips on a bike this expensive, and the clutch doesn't disengage cruise control, which can really take you by surprise sometimes. And for the things that I find to be a bit meh, the 1290 now comes with Bridgestone Battle Axe Adventure Cross AX41 tyres. They drive okay in the dry, but I didn't like the feel of them in the wet. The pipe on the 1290 is nice and quiet, but it lacks any real inspirational to it. I did get used to this left-hand switch block after a little while, but I still prefer the design that the 890 offers. So what settings did I ride with on the 1290? Well, on the road it was pretty much sport all the time. In the dirt, 95% of the time I was in rally mode, and I used the traction control at either 5 or 6. I had ABS turned off at the rear, and my throttle was set on street. So what changes did I make to any of the settings on the 1290? Not much at all. I left the levers exactly where they are. I didn't move the bars. I wound on a little preload at the back to deal with my slight jonkiness. And I sped up the compression on the fork just to add a little bit more comfort to the ride. So if this was my 1290, what parts would I add? Well, I'd go straight for the rally pegs. I'm a big fan of those. I'd buy the flatter seat. I'd go for heated hand grips, and I would opt for the better weather protection from a taller screen. And all of that is available from the KTM's Power Parts catalogue. If you're a 1290 owner, let me know in the comments what parts you've added to the bike that have made a positive difference.
The 1290 Super Adventure R is a marvel of engineering. Its pieces fit together to produce a bike that will sit quietly on the curb outside a cafe while you sip a latte and finish your raisin toast. But then pounce on the next road bike that passes by and maul it until all that's left are broken pieces of fairing. It may gently pass by on a dirt road with barely a hint of malice, but a swift change of mood will have it tearing the landscape to shreds. It is many things to many riders, but it is undeniably very big, very powerful, and very capable. The rise of the mid-size is undoubtedly well underway, and the truly big adventure bikes might not be with us forever. But for now, I'm happy to be living in the time of the giants.